Do it's Camdork.
Hello everyone, this is Camdork, and welcome to episode number 58 of Season 2 of my Buildcraft, where we play Minecraft with the mods Buildcraft, Thermal Expansion, and Forestry. So everyone, remember this place? It's the Minecart station, yeah! Last time we were here we actually put in some music downstairs, which is pretty cool. And today we're going to be messing around again with the minecart system, but not necessarily all in this base. We will be adding a fourth destination to our minecart system. So right now we have one destination is the main base, which is this station right here. It's not that pretty, but it's very functional. The second destination is the pyramid base, which is a little more pretty, but it's just as functional. And the third destination right now is Chemdork Gardens. So we've always had this ability, and I've always had the plan to add a fourth destination to our minecart system, and that will be the robot base. So the robot base is going to be pretty close. It's something we're going to be working on, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to get there right now, but it would be nice if I could have that as one of our destinations. So in doing that, we're going to have to do a few different things to the minecart system. The first of which is to identify where that actual station is going to go. So that's our first step in this process, and let's go ahead and do that right now. Well, here we are. We're at the robot base. Well, we're actually on the top of a mountain, watching our robots go and drop off their ethanol, which is almost fully transferred at this point, because we're not really using much here. So the robots will stop their process for a while. But here's the robot base. Now let's see where we're going to actually put a station here. And I thought it made the most sense to put the station kind of in this corner around where the robots are. And I thought it would be kind of cool to put it right in this mountain right here. So I have this sort of this plain area, this flat area, and we're just going to build it right into the mountain. I think I want to use maybe some quartz and whatnot. So let me go ahead and design something, and I'll be right back, and I'll show you kind of the general layout for the base, or for the minecart station. Okay, so be right back. Well, here it is. So this is the minecart station in the robot base. I think I kind of like it. It's a small little area here. Pretty cool. So I used some quartz. I used some cyan wool. And it's well lit, and I like it. I like it a lot. So we're going to be able to go to the main base from here, Chemdork Gardens, and Pyramid Base. And this is basically where we are going to go from. This is the mine carts. It'll be sitting right here as the sort of base junction right here. Okay, so let me go ahead and, well, we have to do some things, such as before we even lay minecart track, which we might do first, but we have to do some messing around in the minecart area. And, oh, yes. I should show you. As you see, the robots are sitting up there, and they're sitting up there because they have no more work to do. So before they actually do any more work, they're just going to sit up here and do nothing because they have no more work to do. So there's no more space for fluid, so there's no more space to put fluid. So as that is the case, they're just sitting there. So until there's space for fluid, then the robots will signal the timers to start, and they'll continue on their merry way. All right, so let me get back to the minecart area, and we'll adjust it. Okay, see you in a minute. Well, now that we have a minecart station in our robot base, now we need to know how to actually send minecarts there, and how do I hook it up to our system? Well, our system basically works on this principle. So we have a single junction operating and connecting three bases. In this case, let's say a base over here, a base over here, and a base over here. The junction itself is always in a default position. In this case, let's just say this is the default position where it's curving this way. So it's kind of pointing toward this location here, destination here. So if you're at the station that would be over here and you wanted to go over there, well, the button press would just give you a minecart, but it wouldn't switch the junction, and you would essentially do this. Ta-da! Okay, perfect. And then if you wanted to go over here, you'd push a button, and the button would send a redstone signal to the junction. Notice that it changed, and now the minecart is going over there. The other key point here is that after the minecart passes over the junction, a signal is sent to switch it back to the normal default setting, always. So even when a minecart's passing here, the signal is sent just to make sure it's in this position. That way it's always in this position, the junction. Okay, that's great. So what about sending a minecart over to here? This would represent our robot base because there's lots of robots here. So how do we get a minecart to go there? Well, let's go ahead and try the old, like, well, it makes sense. Let's just use a rail connecting right here. Perfect. Okay, let's just do that. So one of these ways is going to probably send it there, right? So let's go ahead. Okay, that's the default way. It goes that way. Great. If I send a redstone signal, you might notice that nothing happens. Well, it turns out that this junction will not change if it is a four-way junction. If you may not know that, if you do, then good for you. If it's a T-junction, it will change. There it goes. Okay. Yeah, if it's a T-junction, it will end up changing just like we saw, but not if it's a four-way junction. So that means we have to use two of the three-way junctions. So we have to use one here as well as one there. So we actually need two junctions in this case in order for this to work. So if I wanted to go to the robot base, in this case, I would just go there. If I wanted to go to that base over here, I would have to switch this one, just like that. If I wanted to go to this base over here, I'd have to switch this one and make sure this other one was in that type of position. And we'll just control all of these with redstone, but we have to use two T junctions. Okay, so we'll go ahead and set that up in our current system right now. We need to add another junction. See you back at the base. Here's the main minecart station, and here is the junction we were just talking about. So it is in the default position, which is just like this. The detector rail here, here, and here, coming off of the junction from any different direction. A minecart will have to always pass over one of these, and after a short while after it passes over, it always switches this junction back to this default position. Okay, so that's the junction. You might notice, though, there's other detector rails here. And just to give you some bearings, the robot base is kind of in that direction. So we want to put our second junction either over here or over here. In both directions, there's some detector rail business going on. And you may remember that these detector rail systems, these are actually part of the minecart resupply or return system. And it operates based on the principle of if a minecart is traveling in this direction over this particular set of detector rails, it will trigger a signal to be sent to the area over there to send a minecart back to that station. So in this case, the only way a minecart comes right over these two rails, just like this, is if it came from the pyramid base. And so we then send a minecart back to the pyramid base. Pretty cool, pretty easy, pretty nice, elegant way of doing it. The problem is that if I put a junction, say, on this side over here of it, and make it more right here or something, and make it go that way to go to the robot base, then the condition of the only way in which this is true is if a minecart went from the pyramid base is no longer true. It could be the case, but it could also be where the minecart just came from the robot base. So what we basically need to do is, to sum it all up, we need to move this. We need to move this over probably there, and this is going to be the location of the new junction. Okay, so let me go ahead and move this, and then get myself some space ready for the new junction, and then we'll put in the new junction. Okay, so see you in a second. Okay, well, here it is. So this is the detector rail system moved. One side is delayed and the other side is not. And so, yep. So now anytime a cart comes this way, it will recognize it came from the pyramid base, and that's no problem because our junction is going to be somewhere around here. So where that used to be. So this actually joins right back up with where it used to be, which was right over here. This used to be where the system was. Okay, cool, and it'll be right next to my other junction. How nice! Okay, so we're going to build the junction right here, and now let's actually select the specific location for it. I want to be as close as I can to this, but make sure that the minecart is sped up as it normally should be, which is every 5 blocks I have a booster rail system, so or booster rail, 1, 2, except for near the junctions. So here is 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, 5, and then 2, 3, and basically I want this to be for 5. This is the 5th one. I want this to be the booster that's right after the junction. So that means that here will be one of the detector rails that will switch the junction back to the default. This will be one of the detector or the booster rails of the junction, and then it's right here is where I need to have the junction. Well, actually, yeah. So I do that, and there you go. Okay, so let's do it this way. Ta-da! Okay, now that's a junction. That is where the junction is. Yeah, we'll have to not do this. I don't remember which one of these has. There it is. That's the one. So we'll have to put the booster rail or the powered rail right here coming off of it. And then we get to put a standard rail and then a detector rail. And this is going to be the other detector rail that will say that we have, we have left the junction and now you must switch it back to default. And then there's going to be finally another one over here. So let me go ahead and just sort of set this up a little bit. I'm going to set up some basic stuff down there, and then I'll be right back. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and put in the redstone for the junction. So we're going to need a tesseract here. Let's just get our bearings. This is junction number 1, and right over here is going to be junction number 2. So I put in all the powered rails and all the detector rails right here, here, and here. Now we have to just set this up so that it'll go the right way, and then we'll continue this, and building the rails is the easy part, right? This is kind of the more difficult part. So let's just go down here. You see the cyan wool now is marking our key locations. So right here above this torch, this redstone torch, is the actual rail of the junction number 2. We're going to go ahead and copy exactly this setup for junction 1 over here for junction number 2. Right over above here is one of the detector rails, that's another detector rail, and that's another detector rail. They're all going to be hooked up together to switch this back into a default mode. Okay, let's go ahead and set the tesseract. We're going to set it right here. And this is going to be set to, yeah, I'm going to have frequency number 4. It's not anything yet, but I think I can name it. Yeah, okay, now I can name it. I can name it junction 2. It's set to receive only and blocked. Yeah, I kind of had to screw this up. So if I save that frequency, okay. So now it's set. Yeah, okay, good. So, yeah, okay. Set frequency. It's set to junction 2, receive mode only. Okay, nothing else is talking to this, but we can now. If we send this an item, it should get an item. So basically what we end up doing is, well, we want to put these landing zones for our redstone current here. So for this guy, yeah, let's just go ahead and set some redstone. So we need some redstone on top. We need some redstone here. We need some redstone there. We need some redstone there. We need some redstone here and here. And yeah, there we go. Okay, so these are going to be where, yeah, I'm actually literally looking at the other side for my enjoyment. No, actually, for the fact that I know where things go. Okay, and then we have to set up the stuff next to this tesseract. So let's go ahead and grab a chest. So if we put the chest, in this case, yeah, it's right here. We're just going to use this really nicely. When an item is sent to this junction, it will populate this chest. And in doing so, we need to say that if there is something in this chest, send out a redstone signal. So this is going to be saying if items are in inventory, so let me just test. An item is in the inventory, this should be true. It is true. Okay, good. Take it out. This is no longer true. Okay, set on the redstone signal. So, and that redstone signal is going to an RS NOR. So basically, okay, let me build that. That's in that direction. Really nice. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We'll do it this way. Here's our lovely RS NOR latch. I'm not even going to explain this anymore because you guys already know what this thing does. It's a 1-bit memory cell. Okay, so there we go. We connected. And, yeah, okay, so this, when an item is in the inventory, it'll switch this RS NOR latch. If I go the other way, what it does is, boom, there we go. Okay, yeah, I think it's set up to do that. And indeed it is. Okay. So this is now in default mode. This is default mode. When item is sent to this, it switches it, and by switching it, what it does is switches this RS NOR latch to that. And when any minecart passes over and sends a signal down to this block, that block, or this block, basically what we need it to do is switch to that. But we don't have it do it right away. We have to do it after a short delay. And that is, if you look over here on this setup, it's this thing right here. So let's go ahead and just, I'm just going to start to set up those redstone current. I'll be right back. Let me just set up those sort of boring redstone currents. I'll be right back. Okay, well, the redstone is all set, and here is a working junction number 2. So it's worthwhile to explain exactly how this works and how this is working. Even though we explained it and we kind of went through it in a long time ago, that was junction 1. That was an old time ago. Let's go through it again just to be pretty clear. So the whole junction is controlled by this RS NOR latch, and if this side is on, as I've already explained, the junction is in its default position, so it's in its default setting. If we need to switch the junction to go into a different track way, we have to turn on this side. And that's controlled by if there is, at this point, right now, the only thing controlling that is if there's an item in this chest. And how we get an item in this chest is by sending an item to this tesseract. It'll just pop into this chest, which is great. And then this will be true, because items will be in the inventory. It'll send out a redstone signal and switch the junction, because it'll turn on that torch, off that torch, yada, yada, yada. Okay? So that's pretty clear, right? So then the track will be in a state that is waiting for a minecart to pass over it. And when the minecart does approach this junction, it'll go over either that detector rail, the detector rail above this block, above that one, or above that one. And these are all hooked up in the same redstone line. So right here is the line. It hooks up to that, this, and this. This will turn on and start the process of switching the junction back to default. We can't do it right away because it'll pass over one of these before the cart actually gets to the junction, so we need to delay it a bit, and that is what this is all about. It delays the signal just a little bit so that the cart can actually get over the junction before switching it back to default, and it works really well. And then the final thing is that we need to switch it back to default, but we have to make sure the item is out of that chest, and that's what this is. So we send a signal to this gate, which pulses and pulls out the item, puts it into a void pipe, which destroys it, and then we're good to go. All right, cool. So the final thing here that we need to actually hook up is there's another way to switch this junction just by sending. We can switch the junction by sending an item to the tesseract, or by just powering this. And the main base is so close that we can actually, the main base station is so close we can actually just power this directly, which is what we did over here. So we're going to do the same thing. We'll just follow this redstone line. I'll show you how close it is. It's real close. It's right here. So all we need to do is actually hook up to this redstone line right here. And I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about how we actually tell this system where we go and when and how, and yeah. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, well, it's hooked up. So that was actually really easy. It's super close. Do you guys want to test it out? I think I do. So let's go ahead up here. I just want to see which way it's pointing. So at this point, it will be going toward the pyramid base by default. So if I want to go to the robot base this way, I'll have to switch the junction. So we'll try to switch it so we go this way, and then see what happens to the junction, because after we go this way, it should switch back to this direction. Okay? So let's go ahead and try to do that, and I'll basically show you how we're going to be doing that. So yeah, since we're going to be going to the robot base, that's this. So the robot base will keep this junction in the default position, but switch junction 2. And how we basically dial that in, or program that in the buttons, is with these torches right here. So the torches right here, you'll see only one of them sitting on the side right here. So what happens is the pyramid base, in order to go to the pyramid base, now it's set up so you just go to the left and you just don't do anything whatsoever. And you'll notice there are no torches hanging off the side of this block. There is a torch, however, right here, and that torch goes to junction 1, which is the junction right here, and it switches it from this way it is now to go that way, which is where we have to go to for Chemdork Gardens. So you see that by putting a torch above that line, we switch that junction. So for the robot base, we want this in the default position, but we want to switch junction 2. So that'll be this third button right here. We'll set that up right here. So we'll have to put a torch right here. Okay, so there you go. That was a short pulse. You say what you might have seen actually was sent. I just want to make sure that we actually we didn't switch it yet. No, we didn't switch it yet. Okay, so it's still in its default position. That wasn't a long enough pulse. If I click this button, however, okay, the minecart falls, but let's actually go and check. This should be switched. Cool. Oh, I forgot about the music. Okay, so this is switched. So that's pretty cool. And then when we're just going to follow it, actually. Yeah, we're just going to follow this. Okay, so we'll follow the minecart. It goes over these detector rails. Goes over that one, and you see that? I don't know if you saw it. It switched back to the default position. Perfect. Okay, so that's exactly how it's supposed to work. Great. Okay, so let's go ahead and, well, we actually have to go now to set up some of the cart return stuff and, yeah, some of this other stuff. Okay, so I'll be right back. So I actually ran the minecart tracks, decided to go ahead and do that, but before we travel along those tracks, we're going to set up the cart return. So we want to set it up so that every time we return from the robot base, we of course would be taking a minecart from that base. So we're going to have to set it up so that we put a minecart back into that base. And how we do that is with this the same one-way minecart detector that we were setting up before. So we'll be going in this direction. We'll want to recognize the cart as it's traveling from the robot base into junction number 2. So that means it'll run over this one first and then that one, and we want it to send a signal when it does that. And how we do that is we use this, once again, we do the same idea. So right underneath each of these is the detector rail. You've kind of seen this before. So we delay one side of it. That's going to be this side. We delay it a whole full repeater. And the other side we do absolutely nothing to. And then we just make them meet in the middle. And we give it an AND gate, which is nice and easy to build, luckily. Ta-da! Ta-da! Whoops. Ta-da! And yeah, there you go. You guys are seeing a lot of redstone in this episode. Pretty nice, right? So if this is on at the same time as this, that means both of these torches turn off, and when they do, this turns off, which basically turns that on. So that's how that works. Okay, and then we need to run this line to a secret special location. I will show you that in a minute, and then we'll set that up. It'll be momentarily. So we need to go to a Z value of 385 and a X value of 79. It's not too far away. Okay, see you in a second. Okay, you ready? So we ran this line all the way down here. Keep it going, and then you'll notice we have a little bit of a pipe at the end. That's good. And this pipe goes all the way up with some pipe wire on it already, but we're going to add some more to it. So first what we can basically do is when this receives a redstone signal, we're going to have it send out a pipe signal. This is going to be the yellow pipe wire signal. It's why we need a diamond gate. So there we go. Yellow pipe wire signal when it gets a redstone signal. And I'm going to run all this up here. And you're going to see where I run it. So let me just do that. Yep, so you see it's getting a signal from over here as well. We follow it up all the way. Maybe we will. I don't know. Okay. Oh, that's bad. Come on. It's ridiculous. I think that, okay, that works. And then let's keep on going. And hey, look at that. It's still there. There we go. We're just about there. Okay, and you might know where we are. I don't know. Maybe you do. Maybe you remember. Here we are. So we are right here. This is the main minecart station. And right over here, this is like the resupply station. So basically what happens is that when we get a yellow pipe signal, we do the extraction presets. So we do yellow pipes, yellow extraction preset, and single energy pulse. Yeah, single energy pulse. So we send out a minecart. Any minecart, after it gets to a base, sends that minecart to the minecart storage, which is right here. and then this is where the minecarts go. And then when the base recognizes when it goes anywhere, it's going to have to go through one of those junctions, and it'll send a signal here. It'll pump out a minecart, and it'll be directed to go to a particular location. In this case, this is the pyramid dispenser. In this case, this is the garden dispenser, and we're going to have one more tesseract sitting right over here in the corner where we move this. And that's going to, of course, be our, well, we got to actually give it another name. This is going to be the robot minecart dispenser, and it's going to be right next to those robots. I think 6 is fine. Let's save it. Okay, there we go. Robot minecart dispenser. And we don't need to even put a label on it. Now, the extraction preset, I think it's set to just do nothing. I guess it's painting yellow a minecart. I guess I should probably do that. I don't know if it really matters. It'll be painted yellow, but nothing will happen to it. Yeah, we're not even going to bother testing it because that's just going to work. Because it works for the other ones. So cool. Okay, so we have a way of returning the minecarts. Let's actually get to the robot base now. So in order to do that, we just push the button. This works fine. We already know how this works in the junction. Oh, cool. Yeah, music. Okay, now let's see what it looks like. So this is not quite done, but this is what it'll look like. Okay, we're doing it at night. I might add some like walls to this. I'm not sure, but for now it's fine. It's not too far away, actually, honestly, but it's a lot easier going this way than it is to travel all around the mountain. And here we are. So there's no way of returning this minecart yet, but we'll have it in a minute. So we'll go ahead and set up the station right here, and I'll be right back. Well, here in the robot base, we're going to be setting up some things pretty quickly, but we've technically done them before, so in our other bases. So here we go. We set up the system to return the cart after it arrives at the base. So after it arrives at the station, once again, this is a junction. Actually, each station has its own little junction, and just like the other junctions, there is a default setting, and that is this way. So we'll have to make sure that every time the cart leaves, it goes into this default setting. Okay, so here's a hopper. There's minecart tracks on the top. The minecart will get destroyed by the cactus and immediately go into the hopper. And then we want it to be pulled out of this so that when there's items in the inventory... is there something in... Oh, okay, yeah. I screwed up. When there's items in this inventory, it will do a energy pulsar. And then that will go to... And I have a little area here. It'll go right into this tesseract. So we could just go directly into the tesseract, but whatever. This tesseract will be set to send items only. Just send items only, and it's going to send them to the minecart storage. So basically what happens, and this is how you see the minecarts get returned, when the minecart goes to any of the bases, it goes into this tesseract for minecart storage. It gets sent way to the central storage. And then anytime a cart passes around central storage, that's when we send it back to the station where it came from. Okay, that's kind of how that works. Once again, this is a junction. It is now set for the wrong way. If I was in a minecart here and I started going, I would just go straight into the cactus. That would not be what we want. So when we push one of these buttons, we want a few things to happen. We want a minecart to drop, which it is set currently to do. So that's all set up. That's a pretty easy thing. There's a little dispenser up there. I'll go and show you pretty quickly. We also want the junctions to change around there to let it know where it has to go. In which case, I just have to set up the proper torch sequence here. These torches will go to these lines, one of which will now be junction 1. And the other one will be junction 2. So we set these up kind of the similar way. This is set up to receive some cobblestone from a never-ending supply with a ignis extruder down there. And there's this one over here will be junction 1, so we'll set that frequency. This is set to send items only. Okay, and just like that one, it is set to send only. Very important. This is going to be junction 2. That way items aren't sent to this tesseract. It's very important that items aren't sent to this tesseract. So these have to be send only. Okay. And then these are, when it gets a redstone signal, a single energy pulse, which means it pulls out a single piece of cobblestone that will come out and go in. And then the sequence of torches, as we saw before, indicates if we switch a junction or not. And up here, every time you push a button, it sends a signal here, which is right on top of the minecart dispenser, which is right next to robot MC dispenser. Remember, we actually set up that tesseract when we came back from the robot base to send a minecart here, which pops it right into here. So we don't have many minecarts now. We have one, but that's it. But that's okay. That's fine. We'll set that up a little later. But what I want to do now is the third element, which is to say when you push the button, we want to also switch this junction. And we also want to sort of, well, we want to switch it when we push this button, really. So I'm going to go down there and set that up. I'll be right back. All right, so I set this up. I think this is pretty much almost it. So this is the base junction for the robot station. I kind of had to relearn everything here, so it's kind of nice to do this from time to time because I sort of have to relearn. Oh yeah, that's right. That's how I did it. So every base has a junction. It by default needs to go this way toward the cactus, so that any cart coming in just goes toward the cactus, gets destroyed, and the minecart goes back, just like we just did. When I push this button, it needs to do two things. It needs to power this part of the rail because the minecart will have fallen and we're ready to go. It also needs to switch this junction from going, you know, this way, essentially. It needs to switch it to a way in which we can leave the station. So and that's in fact what happens when I push this button. You see this gets powered, and this junction switches now so it leaves the station. Which means that when the minecart goes over here, it resets it back to the original. So it basically, it'll power this piece of redstone. And now you see it resets it back to the original state, so that when a minecart comes in, it goes toward the cactus. Great, so how is it working? Well, our old favorite, it's an RS NOR latch doing the whole thing. So this is a 1-bit memory cell right here. If this side is on, it means it's in the default setting. If this side is on, it means it's in the switched setting. So when it's switched, it's in opposite the setting it is right now. This is default right now. So if switched would mean it's pointing sort of this way. And then at the same time, when this side is on, it also means that this goes into this block, which means the powered rails are on. So there you go. So that's all. It's all done. Yay, cool. So now we can just... We can close this up. It's no problem, and there we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and take this for a spin. But actually, oh yeah, I need some. I need these. I need slabs because I had them in here. There we go. Okay, I was gonna say I know I had them in my builder's backpack. Very useful, these backpacks from forestry. Okay, there we go. See, now we've hidden it really well. Cool, so we can actually go for a spin. I do have to look up to see how we're going to set these torches. Okay, so I'll be right back. Alright, so I figured it out. So to get to the main base, we need to actually switch junction 2 and keep junction 1 only. So junction 2 that's junction 1. This is junction 2. I don't want to send any redstone signals prematurely, so we'll do it this way. So junction 1 we want to do nothing to, but junction 2 we want to switch if we have this line go off. So that means we would want to switch that one. Okay. To get to the next one, which is Chemdork Gardens, what we need to do is switch junction 2 and junction 1 would also have to switch, so actually both of them. So okay, so that means we have to put a torch on both of them. So I think that's where we're probably going to head first, just to make sure it worked. And to get to the pyramid base, we actually do nothing. We don't need to do any switching of junctions whatsoever. So let's go to Chemdork Gardens, because that should switch both junctions. So if we get to Chemdork Gardens, then we did this right. Don't know, we only have one cart in here, so when I'm going to head back to here, and then it should actually work. Okay, so let's go to Chemdork Gardens. Okay, we do this. By the way, there are cobblestones going into both tesseracts. That's good. We have a minecart, and yeah. Okay, so let's go. Let's go. Chemdork Gardens. Here we go. On our way to a nice little minecart ride. Oh, wait, yeah, there we go. So anyway, So this has been kind of fun. So this should be the end of the episode, pretty much, as this works. What we basically accomplished is expanding our minecart system. So this should now be sending a minecart back to the minecart dispenser for the robot base. So cool, this is actually working. Chemdork Gardens is working. So hopefully that was enough time for me to be in those chunks which are loaded. And I think they're probably still loaded, so I think it was enough time. So yeah, this is back on our way to Chemdork Gardens. And then I think what we'll do is we'll speed up the trip going back to the Robo Gardens, and we're going to expect to find a single minecart into the dispenser. Oh, for some reason I stood up. Okay, that's nice. Yeah, for some reason I sit really low in these minecarts, and I don't know why. Alright, here's the beautiful Chemdork Gardens minecart base. Let's just admire this. This is a really nice... I love this minecart station here at Chemdork Gardens. I mean, the trees are pretty nice here, too. They're not bad. Yeah, they're not bad. This is meant to sort of be a place to show off all of the forestry trees. I don't have them all, so I probably should do a little tree breeding at some point. Anyways, let's go ahead back to the Robo base. We don't actually have it set up, so let me go ahead and do that real quick, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I realized I had to set back here. I set up some of the station junctions. So in order to go to the robot base, what we basically have to do is switch only junction 2. So that should only work for junction 2, and I had to put another tesseract in there. So I actually had to walk back to the main base, grab some stuff. Now it's dark, but that's okay. So we'll go to the robot base now. So this should work just fine. Let's go. All right. So I'll probably speed up this segment for the trip back to the robot base, but hopefully I'll see you there. And we'll check the dispenser. And here we are. So the minecart is now going back to the minecart dispenser system. So the moment of truth to see if everything works. So far everything pretty much did work. Now let's see if there is a minecart in this dispenser. Hopefully there is. Darn, there isn't. We set up something wrong. I think we... Oh, now I remember. Yep, one little thing. I'll be right back. Just a minute. This is what we kind of neglected. These tesseracts have to be set to the proper way. This is receive only. These are send only, because they're only set to send. But this is our robot minecart dispenser. Notice that this is set to receive only. Oops, this needs to be send only. And that's why. Okay, so that's why things didn't work, because even though it probably sent a minecart, it didn't actually send a minecart. Okay, so we're gonna try this again. We're gonna try to go to some places in our minecart system, and we'll see. Okay, so I'll be right back. I actually need to set up the settings for the pyramid base, and maybe we'll go to the robot base from the pyramid base and bring a minecart with us or something. I don't know. We'll do something. Hold on. We'll test it in a second. Okay, I fixed what I needed to, and now let's go ahead to the pyramid base where we will do our thing. So anyways, what we're going to be doing is we need to actually add a minecart in here because there's no minecarts. So there's one. There will be none eventually. And if we check the minecart return when on our return trip, once again, we should see a minecart in there. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's go to the pyramid base. Okay, minecart falls, and let's be on our merry way. Okay, we'll speed this up. Just see you there in a second. And here we are. So we're at the pyramid base. Okay, so now from the pyramid base, I have set up the proper redstone. We have a button for the robot base. Let's go ahead and go there. And now, as we go... as we went from the robot base to the pyramid base, we passed over our minecart return, so that should have sent a minecart back to the robot base, which means there should be a minecart in that dispenser. We shall see on our return trip. So see you there. Okay, the moment of truth. So let's go ahead and see. There should be one minecart in the dispenser now, because it should be the same minecart or the minecart that was sent back here. Come on. Oh no, it's not working right. All right, guys. Well, we're back here. I found what might be a little bit of an issue, and that is with the cart return. Every time I pass over this, every time I pass over, I see that this torch is turning on, so it's working properly to detect that a cart is going past this. The problem I'm having is that I'm not getting, it doesn't result in a minecart to be added to the robot base dispenser. And I believe I know why. I believe it's because this pulse just isn't quite long enough. It's a normal pulse. It's a kind of probably like equivalent to a button press, but I don't think it's long enough because it probably has to be reasonably long in order to both trigger this gate and also to allow this pipe wire signal to propagate all the way up. In the later versions of Buildcraft, this propagation is pretty much instantaneous, but currently it's still sort of the slow version. And this is quite far down. So actually what I think I need to do is build a pulse extending circuit. And just in case you ever need to know how to do this, very important, you have one redstone repeater here, and you basically just want to split the signal and make one side longer. So this, yeah, that should actually be plenty long. This is plenty long. So what's going to happen is it's only one way. If you don't have this here and you just do that, you're going to create a recursive circuit that basically will turn on forever. So you need to have this other repeater because it prevents it from going the other way. Okay, so this should actually work. This should make it really, really long, actually. Perhaps too long? Yeah, I don't think we need that. I think we just need two. That's fine. So it delays it by just a little bit, and that's going to probably be long enough now to send a minecart. So let's go ahead and check and test that out. Okay, be right back. Okay, to test this, we are going to look to see what's in this chest, because I want to see if one was sent. So we have two minecarts in this chest right now. I have a minecart in my hand, so I'm going to actually use this to test the sensor. I know it works. I know the sensor works, so let's go ahead and plop this minecart on the top of the hill. And I want to see the sensor send a minecart. And then we'll make sure it's being sent to the right place. So it should kind of roll down. Come on, just give it a little nudge. There we go. Okay, let's see if we can tell. I think it probably was sent. I hope so. But we'll know from, I'm not positive, but we'll know if it was sent because there will be only one minecart in here, in this chest again. So here we go. Only one minecart. So it was sent to the, presumably to the robot dispenser. So we'll be able to tell. Let's see. I'll put this back. Put this rail back. And let's go to the minecart base in the robot base, and we'll go ahead and see. So let me put this one back. Okay, now there's two again. And click the robot base. And off we go. So this should have worked. We'll I'm sure, see a robot, a minecart in the dispenser at the robot base. And that means we actually solved that little issue. I think it was really related to the pulse not being long enough. And that should be fixed, I think, in the next Buildcraft version. Also, I did restart because it looked like the test racks were kind of misbehaving a little bit, and things were running actually really slow. I think stuff was like stuck in tesseracts. So let's say, yeah, okay, so it works fine. All right, cool. So we fixed it. We did it, and we made a minecart station. Hooray! We extended our minecart station to the robot base, which is now ready for action. So we're going to be adding some more robots here. I don't know if next episode, I kind of imagine it'll be pretty soon, right? We're going to be at least thinking about what we're going to be adding here. And then, yeah, okay, so sun is rising on a new day where we did something awesome. And I think we ended the last episode right here. Why not again? It's a beautiful area, ripe for harvesting and messing with robots. All right, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and see you in the next episode. Take care. Bye-bye.